Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is Style in V, and this is a tutorial on how to cut and sew a 360-degree flare. Okay, so I'll be using this paper to make an illustration before doing it directly on my fabric for you all to see. So the formula for cutting your 360 flare, for dividing your 360 flare, is 6.28. Yes, when you're making a 360 flare, you divide your waist circumference by 6.28, or any circumference that you're using, you divide it by 6.28. Okay, so I've gone ahead to divide mine, yes, by 6.28, and I have 7 inches. Okay, now I wanted to have a little kind of pleating. I wanted to have pleating on it, not very much but little, so I added 3 inches to the 7 inches. That makes it 10. Okay, if you want your pleating to be much, you can add higher number, like 5 inches to your waist circumference. Okay, that is after dividing it by 6.28, you go ahead and add 5 inches. Okay, that will give you a fuller pleating on it. So now this is how you fold your fabric. Yes, this is how you go ahead and fold your fabric, like this. Okay, now let's assume this paper is my fabric that I will be using. Yeah, let's assume this is the fabric that I will be using. That is the width of my fabric, and this is the length of my fabric, like this. Okay, now remember the fabric is on 4 sides, so I'll go ahead and fold it like this. Okay, I'll go ahead and fold it like this. Okay, as you can see me doing right here, you fold it into 2 equal halves, like this, and you fold it again. Okay, and you fold it again like this. Okay, so this is how it will be. Now this edge part, yeah, you can, if you see very well, you see that the edge part is not open. Yeah, that is where we'll be using to input our measurement. Okay, now on the top of it, you go ahead and input your waist circumference measurement that you got, which is the 10 inches for me. I'll go ahead and take the 10 inches. After that, underneath it, I'll go ahead and put the length of my flare. Okay, I'll go ahead and input the length of my flare, and I'll take it round. After doing that, I'll connect it like this. Okay, I'll go ahead and connect it like this in a circle manner. So guys, I'll keep that aside, and I'll do the same thing on my fabric for you guys to see. So I've gone ahead to fold this lining piece into 4 equal halves, and on the edge of the fabric like this, I will come down by 10 inches. Okay, now whatever your measurement is, you come down by that measurement. Okay, so I'll come down by 10 inches like this. So I'll take the 10 inches round like this. Okay, as you can see me doing right here. So you take it from one end to meet the other end like this. Okay, as you can see me doing. So, and I'll connect all the dotted lines together. Okay, now you can see how I am connecting them. So it is not straight. Okay, it's kind of like a circle form. So the next thing I will do is to input the length of my fabric. Now I am attaching this to an upper bodice, so that means I will minus my half length, okay, to get the length of my top. Yes, I'll minus my half length. My half length is 17.5 inches, so I'll go ahead and minus 17.5 inches to get the length of my top. Okay, now I'll go ahead and mark the length of my top right here, minusing my half length. Okay, and I'll add 1 inch for sewing allowance, and whatever I have, I'll go ahead and mark. Okay, and I'll measure whatever I have on that end, and I'll just continue it like this. Okay, so this is now the length of my flare. I don't really know if you understand me. To get the length of your flare, that is, if you're attaching it to your upper bodice to make a flare top, you minus your half length to get the length of your blouse. Okay, and whatever you have, that will be the length of your flare. And that was what I did, and I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect from one point to meet another point, and this is what we have. Okay, remember I said our fabric is folded into 4. Okay, our fabric is folded into 4, so I'll just go ahead and cut it like this. Okay, as you can see me doing. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly help me to subscribe, okay? So thank you so much. So guys, I am done cutting the flare on the lining piece. I'll go ahead and cut the same thing on our main fabric, okay? It will be equal, like the same thing you see on this lining is the same thing I will cut on the main fabric. Okay, so guys, I've gone ahead to cut the same thing on my main fabric. That's the same flare I have on my lining on my main fabric, and this is what we have right here. Okay, so we have this, and the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to gum my paper gum stay on the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so this is a paper gum stay. It has the gummy side and it has the non-gummy side. Okay, so I'll go ahead and place the gummy side of it on the flare pattern, that's on the flare fabric, and I will gum it to meet the fabric. Okay, so this is because it helps it give structure, that's flare structure, when you attach this paper gum stay. So this is the medium one, it's not the hard one. Okay, so guys, I am done attaching it to it. Okay, and this is what we have. Okay, you can see it's already gummed or glued to it, and I went ahead to divide my flare into two. Yes, I just went ahead to open one side of the flare. Okay, so that it should be open. Yes, I went ahead to open one side of the flare, and I also did the same thing to my lining piece. And the next thing we will do is to sew. Yes, is to sew the flare. Okay, now I will place my lining on the right side of my fabric, and I will get my crinoline. Okay, yes, I'll be using a crinoline to sew this. Okay, the crinoline also helps it to give it that wavy flare structure. Okay, so now before I sew my crinoline on this rough edge, I'll go ahead and sew like a fabric to cover it, a fabric to cover the rough edges. Okay, like this. So I have with me a piece of fabric, and I'll just go ahead and sew it to cover up this rough edges, as you can see me showing you guys right here. So I'll just go ahead and take like a little piece of it, so that I'll be able to cut it. I'll be able to sew it to the rough side. Okay, like this. So this is how I will fold this. I don't know how visible this is, so I'll go ahead and put the crinoline inside this fabric piece like this. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and sew it, and I'll just go ahead and sew it from one end to meet the other end like this. Okay, so that your crinoline will not it will not come out from your fabric after sewing it. That is why you need to cover this up like this. Okay, so you can see it right here. So when I'm done, I will go ahead and sew. I'll go ahead and place it directly on my fabric and my lining piece. Okay, so just watch how I will join it, how I will place it on them all to start sewing. Okay, so you just go ahead and place your lining piece to your main fabric. You arrange them. Yes, both of them have to be on the same sides like this. Okay, yes, remember I said I went ahead to open it on one side, and this is what we have. Now on the lower side of your flare, that is on the hemline of your flare, I'll go ahead and place the crinoline right here on the hemline, facing the lining part. Okay, facing the lining. Okay, and I will start sewing like this. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew from one end to meet the other end. Now all the sides have to be equal, that is both your crinoline, your main fabric, and your lining. All of them have to be equal, then you sew. Okay, so I'll go ahead and sew from one edge to meet the other edge like this. Okay, so as you're sewing, you're arranging your flare so that the lining and the main fabric will be on the same sides. Okay, like this, as you can see me doing right. So guys, I am done sewing it. Okay, from one end to meet the other end, and this is what we have. So the next thing for me to do is to top stitch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and top stitch this. So this is how I will top stitch it. Now remember the sewing line that we have earlier. by sewing the first line. So I will open it up like this, and I will sew close to this thread that we have. That is the first sewing that we did. I'll go ahead and sew close to it, yes, with my fabric facing my lining. Okay, so this is it. I want it to be visible for you guys to see. Now with my fabric facing where my lining and my crinoline is, so I'll just go ahead and sew like this. Okay, so you open it up very well and you will sew close to that first stitch that we did. So you go ahead and follow the shape and sew from one end, yes, to meet the other end. So this is to stick our crinoline and lining piece together. Okay, yeah, so that the lining piece will not be showing on the main fabric. Okay, so this is what we have. You just go ahead and sew it very well from one end to meet the other end, like so, gently like this. Okay, as you can see me doing right here. So guys, I am done sewing it from one end to meet the other end, and the next thing for me to sew is the side of the flare. Okay, is the side of the flare. I'll go ahead and sew the side of the flare, and this is how I will sew it. Okay, so this is to cover up the sides like this. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and sew both my fabric, my lining and the crinoline together on the side like this. Okay, you arrange it very well and then you sew. Okay, so whatever thing you do to one end, you do to the other end. So this is one side and we will do the other side. Okay, so I'll go ahead and fold it again like this to sew up the other side like this. Okay, so this is to cover up the any rough edge. Okay, yes, so that our flare will be very neat. So I'll just go ahead and sew it like this, as you can see me doing right here. So when I'm done, the next thing for me to do is to turn it to meet the good face. Okay, I'll go ahead and turn it like this to meet the good face. Now you pass your scissors in it, okay, so that that side will not be having a folding effect. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and turn it to meet the good face like this, as you can see me doing right here. So you can see our flare, yes, and when I'm done, I will just take it over to my pressing iron, yes, which is this, and I will give it a very good press. Okay, so I'll go ahead and iron it very well, especially the hem of it. Okay, so that our flare will lay down very well. Okay, as you can see me doing right here. So guys, when I am done, the next thing for me to do is to sew the upper side of it. So the next thing for me to do is to sew the upper side like this. Okay, that is the waist area like this. I'll go ahead and join both the lining piece and the fabric together as we have done earlier, and I'll just go ahead and sew it from one end to meet the other end like this. Okay, so guys, I am done, and I also went ahead to attach it to the upper bodies of a dress, and this is what we have. Okay, so I also went ahead to do some pleating on it. Okay, so if you want your pleating to be much, you can add extra numbers to your flare before cutting it. Okay, so this is what we have, so you can see the whole flare, and thank you so much for watching to this point. Bye.